Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be making banana bread or banana cake, whichever one you call it. This recipe I got from Claire's Saffet, and I just added, a few different things to experiment and see how it goes, and it turned out amazing. So we're gonna jump right in. We started off with oiling our pan with coconut oil and just placing parchment paper or baking paper over it, just so it's easier to get the banana cake out of the pan when it's done. So you're gonna line that up, put some more coconut oil on the top of the baking paper and set it aside. Next, we're gonna roast our almond nuts. Just spread it out on a baking sheet with parchment paper on it and put it in the oven for 10 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. All it needs is 10 minutes. We don't want it to get burnt, we just want it to get roasted. So you take it out and let it cool completely. Took a handful out and just roughly chopped it because I'm gonna put that into the cake batter later on. So just roughly chop it and set it aside. Then the rest of the almond nuts we're gonna put into a food processor or a high power blender if you have one of those, and just blitz it, blend it on high speed till the almond nuts become creamy and light and just delicious. It takes around 1.5 minutes. You might need to scrape down the parts of the blender or the food processor just so you get everything well incorporated inside there. Right, so when it's like this, it's perfect. If your blender can even make it smoother, it's up to you. So from this almond butter, I'm just gonna take 3 tablespoons and put it in a small bowl. And to the 3 tablespoons, I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of sugar and 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, liquefied coconut oil. And I'm going to mix that properly, make sure that there are no lumps in there, and just combine it well till it's smooth and set it aside. This is going to be our topping on top of the cake batter before we put it into the oven. So once that is done, just put it aside, and now we're gonna mash our bananas. I had only small bananas at hand, so I used only 3 of them. If you have big bananas, you just want to get at least around a cup of mashed bananas. That should be more than enough, because we don't want it to be so much that it overpowers all the other flavors that we're gonna put into it. You just mash your bananas. You can leave a little bit of bigger chunks in there. It doesn't have to be completely smooth. It shouldn't be blended as well, because that's just gonna dissolve into the cake batter. So now I'm gonna mix my wet ingredients. Right now I'm adding 2 eggs. I added some sugar, around 143 grams of sugar, and I just mixed that really well, just to make sure that the sugar and the eggs are well combined and it's smooth. Then to that, I'm going to add my Greek yogurt. I use plain Greek yogurt, no flavor, no sugar, just normal plain one. I added around 80 grams of Greek yogurt, or 1/3 of a cup. And to that, I also added vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I also added 115 grams of coconut oil, or half a cup of coconut oil. Then we're just gonna mix it, incorporate it properly. Once that is done, we're gonna add in our mashed bananas and mix it in as well. Yeah, we're just gonna mix that well, and next we're gonna add the almond nut butter, not the first one we mixed with sugar and coconut oil. No, the one that is still the rest of it, the one that's not mixed at all. It's just plain almond butter. We're gonna put that in there into the batter, and to that we're gonna add the chopped nuts that we had earlier. We're gonna add the chopped nuts, and I added some chocolate chips just because, why not? Once we've mixed that properly, we're gonna set it aside and move on to our dry ingredients. So here we're gonna use 173 grams or 1 cup and 1/3 cup of flour, all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt. We're gonna add half a teaspoon of baking soda. And in this recipe, I used ground cardamom and cinnamon. So you could choose to use whichever one, but I like the taste of both of them in the banana bread, so I used both of them. 1 teaspoon of cardamom, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And we're just gonna mix that in so that they're well incorporated, and then we're gonna add our wet ingredients right on top and mix it again. If you're using a high power mixer or stand mixer, I would advise to mix this on low, because it doesn't need that much air and it doesn't need that much power, you know. It just needs to be well combined, well incorporated. So I would just use a spatula to mix it in so it doesn't incorporate a lot of air into it. Just keep mixing. Make sure you get to the bottom of the bowl as well, because sometimes the flours can also get stuck there. Scrape the side of the bowls and go right down to the bottom, so you make sure you get all the dry flour out and it's well coated and well mixed. Then we're going to transfer that directly into our bowl, our baking pan. Right, so bring back your baking pan, pour the mixture, the batter right into the pan, and smooth out the top so it's even on top of it. Good, it's looking good. Now we're gonna bring back that little amount of almond butter that we mixed up earlier. We're gonna put like little dollops around the cake, and we're gonna use a skewer or a toothpick or a butter knife, whichever one you have. So you just need to use the skewer, go around. You can make figure eights, you could just go up and down, you could draw a face, whatever you want to do. It's your cake, who cares? So you do it however you want to do it. And into the oven it goes, 180 degrees, 50 to 60 minutes. You check with a toothpick or a sharp knife in the middle. It shouldn't come out wet. If there are still crumbs on it, then it's okay. It's perfectly done. Look at that beauty. Oh, it's so good. And it tastes amazing, guys. Really, it tastes so good. So good. So you're gonna let this cool completely, and then you can make yourself cut some slices. Oh, look at that goodness. My God. My God.